Welcome to this edition of Center Life podcast series, as Centenary Bank continues to bring you useful and practical information that you can use, especially small and medium enterprises, businesses, so to speak. And because we're living in a time of COVID-19, it's about SOPs and remaining healthy and safe. And we have done our best here to ascertain that we follow those protocols. So then, because of that, you allow me to remove my mic so you can see me all. I'm sure you'd like to see me, and my guests will do the same too. I want to introduce my guests today. First, before my guests, the theme. The theme is how small businesses can survive what continues to be a tough economic climate for all. I reckon you're dealing with difficult times now in your businesses. Those who have survived, you are still reeling from the impact. And in this podcast series, we are here to impart you with information that can assist you make decisions, especially for Centenary Bank targeting its customers. Let me introduce my guests on this discussion today. First, on my immediate, this is left. I don't know what you see there, but it's my left. We have Mr. Micheal Jjingo, who is General Manager, Commercial Banking, Centenary Bank.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me. It's my pleasure talking to the SMEs.
I used to think Jjingo was what they call Christian name, until I realized it's not.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay. My other guest is Mr. John Walugembe, quite a familiar face in town here. Is the Executive Director for the Federation of Small and Medium Enterprises of Uganda, FSMEU. John, welcome.
Thank you, Sam, for having me, and I want to greet my viewers, or our viewers.
Okay. Very well. We'll start with Mr. Jjingo from Centenary Bank. From the standpoint of Centenary, how do you define SMEs? It's important so people know that, okay, this is what we're talking about. What are SMEs?
Well, thank you very much, moderator. SMEs are just probably an abbreviation. I'll start from there. SMEs, small and medium enterprises. And by way of definition and by way of understanding what they are, one, they are non-individuals. These are non-speaking entities, and the way we classify them internally are those that run account turnover between 50 million and 500 million. They are non-speaking, they are already incorporated or registered in one way or another. They employ some people. They could be between 2 to 30. We've not been able to granulate the turnover or the profitability because of some lack of data or some of that statistics. But anyhow, these are the entities that employ the bulk of Ugandans in Uganda.
Yeah.
Over 70%. Many of them lacking capital, and we do have these facilities in the bank. So I would say they are non-speaking entities, already incorporated and able to contribute to the economy of Uganda.
I like when you say non-speaking. So to break down, what do you mean non-speaking?
By non-speaking, I said I would imply they are non-individuals. The speaking are the individuals. Those are the personal accounts, the private accounts. So for the non-speaking, that is the firms,
the businesses,
the businesses. Yeah. So
okay.
They don't speak.
Okay. Okay. They're in their own right. They are entities in their own right, even though they have human beings behind them.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Let me move to John before I come back to you, Michael. John, how have these entities that Michael has defined been hit or affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, and it's still going on?
Okay. Thank you. The SMEs have been impacted very negatively by this pandemic in a number of ways. As you know, we've had 2 lockdowns now. The first lockdown was announced in March of last year, and the second lockdown was announced in June of this year. Because of these lockdowns and the subsequent restrictions, you've seen that a number of businesses are suffering from what we call subdued demand. Customers don't have money. Here people saying about devaluing a cent. There have also been supply chain disruptions. You know, we have now curfew. There was a time when non-essential travel was banned between districts. So all these things have resulted into cash flow challenges and liquidity problems for these businesses.
Liquidity problems.
I'm coming. So, because if you're not earning money, it means whatever little money you have, you keep spending. So when you talk about cash flow liquidity, those are just complex words to say you actually don't have money. You wake up, you find that you need 100,000 to take you through the month, but you have 20,000. Where do you get that difference? That is the challenge that most businesses are encountering now. That's why if you've moved around town and other localities, you see that many places are now for rent. For rent, people have closed shop and gone back home. So this is a big problem, and I think it will take us some time to resolve.
Okay. Apart from cash flow and issues, any other issues you have noticed in the Federation, fundamentally, that these people that Micheal defined are going through?
So there were challenges that were there before.
The usual ones.
The usual ones. So sometimes we, as a federation, we want to mix the usual with the new. The usual ones are issues of access to markets, issues of access to finance, and so on.
And those have not gone away.
Those have not gone, they have remained, they have simply been made worse.
And that makes sense, John, what you said, because recently I was asking a guy, he normally works downtown, to find me a certain particular shirt of a certain color. He said, Sam, I can't find you that shirt. I said, how? He said, there's no supply in town. Meaning that even if I wanted, even I, the client wanted to buy some things, I cannot access them, and therefore that cash which I wanted to give them, they can't access. No, makes a lot of sense. All right, let me come back to Mr. Micheal Jjingo. As the leading commercial microfinance bank, that's Centenary Bank now, how have you supported the small businesses to survive during the pandemic? What are the initiatives from your side?
Well, thank you very much, moderator. Of course, I would want to pick it from the side of understanding the effects, the same way John has addressed it, has spoken to it. We are in this market together with our customers, and we have also been affected the same way they are affected. The uptake of our facilities has gone down. The business environment is not as conducive as it was before. It's a little tight on our side. So we had to also understand that whereas we also are affected, then the other guys who also give us business are equally affected. So we started with the restructures. The restructures came in to support those that could not pay, resultant of lockdown, resultant of the slowdown of the economy. So with the restructures, we had to push forward their repayment dates, giving them some grace as they cool down, as they look for funds to be able to repay, because they were in lockdown. The businesses are going down. Some are actually still in lockdown up to today. So we've continued to restructure their facilities to be able to accommodate that lull in business, that slowdown in business, which is impactful on their amortization and their capacity to repay back the facilities that they have taken out from the banks. We've also been able to do quite a lot of engagements by way of webinars, financial literacies, to comfort them, to understand their feelings, and of course respond to their issues, guide them on how to go about the lockdown, the slowdown of business. We have also been able to arrange exposure visits online. We've arranged 2 in India, we've arranged 1 in East Africa, virtual trade fairs, where some of our customers have logged in and been able to update their businesses. We've also been able to do loan top-ups. Of course, as you progress with the lockdown, your capital gets depleted because you're paying rent, you're not working.
What John was saying, the cash flow.
Your earlier cash flows are affected, and even your level of capital is affected because now there's scarcity of products, you're not able to import, and the earlier products that you had and the earlier capital you had cannot be able to replenish the stock. So we have to do loan top-ups to add up onto your working capital to keep you in business, and that is very important. We've also been able to do some networking events for our customers, again to open up their market linkages with other people, with other customers, through our investment club options. Of course, that way they also get partnerships which support them to grow their businesses. So the bank has been a one-stop center for solutions, not only from the credit side, but we've also been able to give them the other financial solutions and the non-financial solutions to keep them afloat. It's rather tight, but again, we must understand, we must support them, must walk with them throughout this trying moment. So
Okay.
that's it.
I appreciate the breakdown there. Before I come back to John, let me just stay with you, Michael, for a moment. You explained something about virtual fairs. I was quite interested, and I'm sure the people who look at who are watching this might wonder, what was that? Just take me through what happens in a virtual fair. Maybe I'm a customer of Centenary, but I never took part. I was like, hey, I missed. Just break down what happens there.
Yeah, with a virtual fair, very interesting. The same way you go to Lugogo and you walk around the entire trade fair. These are shops that have been lined up online. You just click and you see people in there, and you can even talk to them, you can interact with them. You can ask anything, any question about their products. What was key for our customers is to get the login credentials, which we got and gave them. As you log in, you have access to over 300 exhibitors who are also online. And within the time for exhibition, you're able to ask them questions, you're able to see their products. They have created a virtual shop. You're able to see the products themselves in the shelves. The shelves are, of course, clickable.
Yes.
They are not those that you will go and touch and ask, what is this?
When you click, it comes to you.
The Baganda say, no, there is no touching. You only click. So as you click, you see the product and you're able to ask, how does it perform? How does it give me a solution at my side? So that's what happened for India. Similarly, for East Africa, we also got there were fewer exhibitors. But the most important thing that I would want to highlight for the one of India, it had also other things, other areas of wealth management. It had knowledge sites that were linking into it. It also had the support areas, say the hotels that were sponsoring. It was about electricity and electronics, but also other sectors had links. So whereas you were able to see those that were exhibiting, you could also click on other areas that were not exhibiting and get to know those products.
Okay.
So in there, they had also ranked the exhibitors. Say this is a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star. And with a 5-star, you're sure that you're dealing with a very credible company.
Quality, stuff like this.
So as you go in, you're able to see. By the way, India has been sponsoring some of our customers previously to go to India free of charge to see what they do. And we've been linking them in there. But now that we had, of course, a lockdown of India due to the third or fourth wave that happened, and of course, a few people are coming in and a few people are going to India. What we had to resort to is an online trade fair. And it was very good. Our customers were able to log in. They were able to see the products that, of course, they would ordinarily have seen in a physical trade fair. They were seeing them. They were asking their questions. There were also some chatbots.
Very interactive.
Interactive chatbots that were supporting it, especially at the time when the trade fair is closed, they would kick in chatbots. So you go in, they say, well, I'm Peter, I'm here, the trade fair is closed, but we are available to help you. So you log in your question, they route it to the right person, and before you know it, that question has been answered.
That's very efficient. Huh?
So that is a virtual trade fair.
Michael, that was very interesting, the way the virtual trade fair works.
Yeah.
Before I leave you, people are being intrigued by what you have just said. Now we want to know, are there plans for more or what? Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, thank you very much, moderator. Of course, having attended something that has not come or has been not arranged here, we have certainly gotten a few partners who are willing to arrange a virtual trade fair. This is a little cheaper. You don't have to hire out premises. You only need to create a website and, of course, get the skins in there, get the applications in there to support this website. We already have a partner who can be able to arrange one. Yeah, and of course, the virtual trade fairs for China, India, and East Africa, we have one that is going to happen soon, the Canton Fair. We arranged one last year. Again, it was virtual, but we shall have one about late October. Again, we are going to reach out to our SMEs. Those are willing to be able to see the goods. Canton Fair is one of the biggest fairs in China. Of course, with the limitation of travel, it will again be virtual. So we are going to arrange that. Of course, our people are able to see what other countries are manufacturing. So what are we doing for those who are here? That's why we're saying that we need to arrange one for our people, for our SMEs here. We put them onto the website, we promote it, and the other people, maybe in the region, in COMESA, in East African community, are able to see what they produce. Of course, with their certification and ability to export, they would be able to widen their market. And that is key in this time of COVID-19, whereby the markets are shrinking.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll be looking forward to that one. The Ugandan one. Of course, there's the Chinese one, really complex. And in about a minute, so for me to participate, I've never participated. I want to participate. So I need a laptop, a phone. What do I need?
Well, you need a phone, but I would appreciate that people get a bigger view by way of a laptop or an iPad or a tab, because you're able to see a bigger picture, get to understand and see what is in there, rather than seeing a smaller picture that you expand, and of course the pixels are not very good. It's better you have a bigger screen, about 7 inches and above. I'll be 9 or 11 or 15. Then you need data. You need that connectivity. Then you need, of course, the little knowledge to be able to navigate, to click, to move in. Then you need to interact. You need to have a microphone on that gadget and a speaker. As you log in, they'll ask you whether you would want to have your microphone activated. And as you activate it, you could even do the testing, hello, and the other person say hello. Yeah, welcome. Where are you from? I'm from Uganda. Yes, I'm from India. And you start the interaction. And then before you know it, you've gotten what you need. You've asked the questions. You've been able to see the products. And they can be able to even send the photos on your email for the further conversation that happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
What interventions have you, as the Federation of Small and Medium Enterprises, come up with to support businesses to survive during this difficult time of the pandemic?
Okay, so I don't want to narrow it to the Federation, really. I want to first start by saying what ought to be done, and then I can touch on some of what's happening, both by us and by other actors.
Okay.
Firstly, I think we need to look at the potential of digitalization.
I agree.
When you're talking about virtual fairs and all this is about digital transformation. How do we help our SMEs to digitally transform their operations? We shouldn't just stop at attending a virtual fair, but how do you digitalize your entire operations? Now, we also know that the number of challenges. Not everyone can attend a virtual fair, for instance. You can't ask an SME in Agago, in Kabong, to attend a virtual fair. So, whereas in the UK or in the US, this is possible, in our country, we still have constraints, we still have a significant digital divide.
Yeah.
Both in terms of infrastructure, some areas they don't have electricity. Electricity appears once a month. Sometimes the connectivity is very poor. People have to keep looking for network, things of that sort. The cost of gadgets, most SMEs don't have smartphones. So all these are interventions that are necessary to help our people transition. The other thing that SMEs could do is to cost cut. There are things that are needed and there are things that are wanted. So an SME needs to identify what you need now,
draw the line
vis-a-vis what you want. And they need to focus on their needs very clearly and cut out all the wants. Many SMEs normally want to start with cutting out stuff because they tend to look at stuff as the quick target. But the challenge with that is that sometimes you may be kicking out the very people who are going to help you to recover. So it means you have to very clearly look at how exactly you need to cut costs. The other issue is you need to diversify. A lot of our members, in the education space, have been saying, oh, when are schools being reopened and so on. Well, schools will be reopened, but they have been severely disrupted. The cash flows may never remain the same.
That's true.
Mr. Jjingo here, if I came with a school, he would ask me two things. How many students do you have? And so on and so forth. Then he would give me a loan of $1 billion. I don't think that will be the case going forward. So I think businesses need to learn how can I get into doing new things that I may not be necessarily comfortable in. Instead of lamenting, bars have been closed for 2 years, let the government set up and so on. Government can only do so much. So I believe that is critical. And then finally, with regard to what should be done, SMEs need to look out for support in the issues of business resilience and continuity.
The word resilience I like. Go on.
Yes. Many businesses feel that they are experts. They are experts at what they do because they have made money in the past. They may not know that now the times have changed. Yes, you are an expert in importing things from China, but now you're talking about virtual fairs. Are you an expert now? Your knowledge is obsolete.
You need to learn.
You need to learn. You need to look out for new things. So to the extent that an SME can be supported to come up with a proper resilience plan, I think that would be very welcome. Now, a plan does not mean that you have to continue. And that's what I was telling my colleagues in government. You are putting aside money to support the resuscitation of SMEs. You said no. It may be that the business cannot recover. So just putting money there and then putting it into a bottomless pit would not help anyone, also if it's taxpayers' money. So we believe that there needs to be support in issues of supporting SMEs in issues of resilience and business continuity. Now, talking about what the Federation is doing, I would say that we have been a champion in issues of digital literacy for very many years, even before people. Now it's a catchy word, digital transformation, digital literacy, but we've been doing this for 5 years now, supporting MSMEs across this country to acquire the skills.
I know you're working with UCC at some point.
We are still working with UCC. We've been working with them for long. So, and then we've now shifted. We are now going into the refugee settlements with the ILO, helping refugee-owned businesses, issues of business continuity, but also helping them with issues of digital literacy. The Federation is also setting up a mechanism where SMEs can borrow gadgets. And I hope that Centenary Bank can learn from us and copy.
I saw Michael shaking his head.
Set up a loan for gadgets. Someone should just come to borrow a smartphone, that's all. And then finally, the Federation is also supporting SMEs in issues of, as I said, business continuity through trainings, both virtually and online through our SME Academy.
Okay. I see the concerted efforts as far as SMEs are concerned. And I'm a positive person. I think eventually something will, succeed here. Let me turn to Micheal from Centenary Bank. What digital solutions can small business owners use to conveniently access banking services during such a difficult time? And we are still going in the drift of digitalization. Tell us your side.
I think, moderator, permit me to give comfort to the Federation and SMEs that are listening to us. We are in a position to support the digitization journey of our SMEs. Because again, at the end of the day, we are mutual partners in their businesses. So we are willing to support them. And as we speak today, we are actually doing facilities for schools that are about to open to be able to get preparations in place to support their reopening.
Okay.
And that, of course, borders on digitization, watching the SOPs and all the others. We also in talks with MNOs that will, of course, work with us to give the gadgets with concessional bundles. That is a conversation that many SMEs would want to hear, because data is becoming very expensive. Of course, having added the other 12% tax. So it is important to have that partnership, that conversation with MNOs as we partner to get these gadgets to the SMEs to use. Because again, the tide is changing. We are moving digital, and data is becoming a necessary item, a necessary resource. Before we had only capital, labor, and the other. But
factor
now
production. You're reminding me.
We shall add in data as another factor of production. So what is Centenary Bank doing today to be able to digitize, to be able to support in the digitization of transactions? We already have the online banking, which all our SMEs should be able to access at the comfort or at the convenience of your home, to be able to do the transaction without coming to the bank. We have other collection platforms like Sasula, like again, Center Mobile can do the collections. You're able to tell your customers to go to any agent and then they will deposit money. We know very well that around this time, cash should not be a matter of discussion. We need to have cashless transactions. We need to have all transactions, all invoices devoid of cash and checks, because they do transmit, they do support in the movement of this pandemic. So with those channels, that is online and the Sasula, they're able to do it. But of course, we also have the agents, over 4,000 agents at any corner of this country. They're able to do their collection, they're able to pick money from them. We've also supported, of course, in the digitization of financial literacy, whereby we've done webinars, again involving the SMEs. So we train them on a given topic. We've done one on taxation, we've done another on bookkeeping, and we shall continue doing this.
Okay, very good. Concerted effort, and as I said earlier, something we shall see impact in all this, and SME seems to be at the center. Let me come back to you, John, in about 1.5 minutes. What are some of the good business practices that should be adhered to for sustainable business growth? You touched a few things. Just remind us a few key ones for me to be able to continue as an
sustainable business practices in the context of COVID, or in the
generally speaking?
No, so I think first of all, businesses should be formal if they can. It's very important, and that goes along with compliance. You can't be formal, but you're not compliant. Businesses should also try to ensure that they have proper policies for managing their staff internally. Because the staff is the engine of the business. So if you don't manage that well, then you have a challenge. Then you must also have policies for managing external stakeholders.
Deliberately.
Because what they say about you, yes, you may say I'm not concerned, but it might affect your financial bottom line. Even if it's a lie. 2 weeks ago, there was this story and so on and so forth. And the company first took time to respond, but it discovered that no, we have to, although it's external, although it may not be true, we have to confront it.
Yes.
So that is something that businesses ought to appreciate.
Okay, thank you, John. And we'll take our last question from you, Michael. Lastly, the young entrepreneurs take survey and they like things like these ones, and they're going to be watching. For the young entrepreneurs out there, what should one have in mind before starting a business now? You are burning with an idea. Do you start? Do you not start? What do you do? Tell us, Michael.
Thank you very much, moderator. Of course, for any business idea to be worthwhile, there should be a problem. And the problem should be ardent, should be burning, should be biting. And if it is biting, then it will require a quick solution, or a solution that will be embraced by very many people. You are assured of the market. So the young people should quickly look for those problems that are biting, and then the quick solutions.
Demand-driven.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to cite examples, but there are quite a number. Even within the discussion we've had about data, online business, and all the other, because there is already a gap. If you could just look for a solution around that, then you will be able to get quick demand or assured demand. The other matter would be, of course, doing a business plan. You need to form a business plan. And the business plan is about the profiling, the competitor analysis, the market analysis. Where are you going to pick the resources, the budget, and of course, how are you going to launch this business? Do you need extra capital? Do you need debt capital, equity capital? All that comes in this business plan, which is a blueprint for you as you progress with the business. Then the other matter you need to consider is, of course, formalizing it and having a banker at the side, so that in the event that the capital is not enough, you need to piggyback on the support of the bankers. You need partnerships. Of course, many times our young people may not have that prowess, that knowledge to run the business. They could start as a franchise for a bigger company by way of partnership, and then before you know it, they have gained this knowledge and they can be able to progress.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Michael and John. Such conversations end when you don't want them to end, but Centenary Bank will bring you more on the Center Life series. This is one of them, and we've been discussing how you, a small business, can survive during this time when everybody is suffering. And we hope that this podcast is able to furnish you some solution. You realize we are moving towards solutions, and we want to help you survive. Thank you very much for joining us, and we hope you take home something in terms of a lesson.